AD carry bans? Are we
What a
shocked,
surprise.
Jake?
Not at all. No, not at all. Karma first pick left open for JDG in the meantime. That's probably going to go towards Yagao, as we've just seen consistently. But do you take away another 80 carry for RNG, LWX, bigger Felios player, by the way? Play comes through.
Wait, Smolder? Okay, Rakan, sure.
Okay. That's a strong 2v2 lane, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's a strong 2v2 lane, but it's more like...
about picks?
What I'm thinking about is RNG banned 3 of the most aggressive AD carries in the meta.
True.
And then didn't first rotation Smolder when the first pick was Karma on the other side. So, now my big question is this all a big bait from RNG? And do they have something prepped? Or are they just going to go for something to try and match, well, I wouldn't quite say the scaling, but you get the idea, right? Try and ensure that you can survive the lane, which might sound weird against Smolder, but what I mean is go 1-to-1 in some capacity. A Vayne, maybe. There's not a lot of hard CC right now. Or
LWX is historically a Vayne player, so it's not a bad mention from you.
And the reason why I bring it up, it's one of the few champions that can kind of go blow for blow with Smolder in the scaling department. Vayne, of course, has a pretty weak early game, so you would like to be laning against a weak opponent. Kai'Sa, however, would be a little bit closer to standard. Of course, does fit in with diving forward.
Okay.
That's going to be the idea with Rakan. So that's where RNG go. Bans now, I mean, you kind of have to focus on top lane because Karma can still technically be flexed here by missing, right? So is it just going to be like Aatrox plus X or perhaps Cassante, Maokai? Okay, so they're still going to put some stock into removing away some supports. At the very least, this Maokai. And JDG, plain and simple, there's no jungler on the offside, and you kind of need an engage tool out of way here, so Vi makes sense, and you kind of go whatever you feel like as the second ban. Even Jax, I think, would maybe be the best bet, because then you're also kind of sniping that away from Breeve's champion pool as well.
Yeah, as you said, though, the Jax has been good against Xin Zhao, and a lot of junglers have been taking the matchup, so I think that would be a multi-purpose flex that JDG can really just snap off now. Alistar taken off. So another engage tool from JDG. Again, double support ban. Good mention, Jamada. Jax is taken off. Now, Wei's jungler getting picked up now. It doesn't necessarily need to be, but then we wouldn't have counterpick for Breathe. So it feels like for RNG, give Wei on something that can carry parts of this early game. Again, another good Lee Sin player here in the LPL. Could be on the table. Pending.
Yeah, go for it. I would love to see a Volibear hit. I think it makes a lot of sense. You can still technically hold on to the flex as well. If the top lane matchup doesn't look too bad. Of course, Volibear on this patch, hugely buff. If you are unfamiliar with the changes, because we haven't seen Volibear to date. If you've been watching throughout today, basically he moves a little bit faster. His Q movement speed got buffed. His E cooldown got reduced a little bit. But more importantly, his ultimate cooldown at level 1 got reduced by 30 seconds. That is a massive, massive cooldown reduction. And even though the turret disable duration is a little bit shorter, having access to the ability to dive turrets potentially 30 seconds sooner is huge. And it seems like it's going to be TF top here for Flandre. I guess really Karma can also still flex into the top side. So it's a bit of a two-way flex with Karma and Smolder being confirmed in the bottom side. So where do RNG want to go for their last pick here? I'll tell you one thing, they would love to have Jax. But
True.
Breathe, I think. Maybe Aatrox. I think Aatrox is probably the best blind you can go for if you're Breathe. I think it's got a good matchup into both TF and into Karma. But it's Yasuo. Okay. Now, it's good. Yeah, it's probably TF top still, right? On this patch, I doubt it will go into Yagao's hands. Fun matchup. My problem is Yasuo has to facilitate himself the entire game unless Ming finds knockups in the mid game. Not only that, you kind of saw Tom Kench. So anyway, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of that later on. The early lane matchup can definitely be quite difficult for Flandre to navigate here. Yasuo is a fantastic, fantastic skirmisher. This was the patch, I think, however, because I have to always think about it. This is the patch where Lethal Tempo got very heavily nerfed, right? 14-4, so a little bit less pressure compared to previous iterations of that Keystone Yasuo, but nonetheless, a fair amount of aggression and dive from RNG. It's all on theme at the end of the day, right? With this way to support with artillery tools, whereas JDG kind of a little bit more multifaceted. Scaling is obviously the main thing though, with that Smolder and the Karma in the mid lane, with TF top. You need a little bit of time before you really come online, so it's going to be about, you know, something kind of akin to what we saw last game with TT. Waiting for Ruler to hit those stacks, Yagao and Kanavi will act as this bridge, and then Flandre will be a very important utility tool for locking down key and very mobile targets with this Twisted Fate.
Well, Jamada going into RNG and baiting. Wow. Oh, it's like, Beijing JDG. Don't say that. There's for some reason the tongue twister. Going into JDG, I mean, it's a big task, it's a tall task. At least we get an exciting comp. And further to the point, for RNG, the all-in that you stated at the start of the draft, they just followed that forward. As we go into game number 1 to see if this holds true to the previous Beijing derbies that we got out of JDG and RNG back in the day.
A lot of support, as you would imagine. Oh, there's another round.
Oh, again, look at that. The arenas, I mean, JDG's already always been tough.
Yeah, true.
I don't know who it is yet, but that person,
he is well known.
He's well known, all right? He's well known.
Yeah.
So, I apologize. I feel like my, you know, after you know, like leaving China a few years ago from LPL, like when we started doing things remotely, we stopped. Like the faces became a little bit harder because like you see them in the screen rather than like in person, or
Yeah.
you know, like on a giant jumbotron in the stadium. So yeah, I don't know. Again, we lost touch a little bit there. As at least someone will help me out a little bit later. Now, Jamada, where do you want to start on this one? Because again, we know it's taking time bombs from like JDG as well. Having Karma on the team also adds elements. But I feel like execution, as much of that is also a cop-out, really applies to RNG in their comp today. I mean, you could apply it to both of them, but when RNG have so many elements that could go wrong in their dive, in their all-in, I feel like that's probably the place to start.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of dive comps tend to be quite execution-based, right? And this is definitely on the higher end of the spectrum with the floor of execution. For sure, you've got more or less, you know, this very strange, and you know, we'll get to it as a holistic thing later, this Yasuo pick top, which you kind of need to set up, and the only way to do that is through Ming here, as unfortunately Breve Q goes a little bit wide. Nice sidestep from Flandre as well.
Yeah.
But it's going to be about, you know, Ming finding Smolder, finding Ruler, finding Yagao, hopefully even Flandre, and then just getting the follow-up from Breve and hoping that the dive damage and Tangyuan eventually will get to a point where it's just pretty much near impossible to actually answer. This is why, of course, Yasuo can be a very annoying lane for Twisted Fate. Hypermobile, but also the wind wall, of course, makes it so hard to trade back.
And this is, I mean, as the gank comes up for Kanavi, I mean, this is Bree's speciality, having these clutch top laners that can 1v2, 1v3, but is it too early? Flandre's health bar says yes. Wind becomes lightning, gives a little tag on the way out, but Wei now matching here and also spotted on the ward. So respect is given over to RNG's top laner Breathe, who can continue pushing this out and actually maybe hold the wave here, Jamada, which is slowly pushing in against him.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, it's about Breve having the wave in a nice position. Can even look for the rebounds if he wants to. Wei's also just, you know, waiting around in the wings. Had a very quick full clear. Is going to spot out Kanavi. There is a level difference between the two junglers, and Wei will have smite in about 15 seconds, but he knows with Yagao having prio and Flandre coming back from base, it's just not quite worth the flip, so we'll look to take that reset, and he will be ahead on tempo for the foreseeable future, as well as just, you know, XP and resources for now. Breve did take a reset and did teleport back whilst his wave was still frozen. And away, look away, he's just pathing straight back to top. He does not give a monkey's about looking for those second rotation of camps, looking for grubs off the back of it. He knows that Kanavi, you know, clears these camps quite slow. as he already had to cover, could very much still be around here. RNG win this 2v2 very heavy-handedly.
You'd think so, especially with Wei, who had the level lead, but it's not going to be 2v2 anymore. Kanavi backs away. And Flandre, again, Wave not in the greatest state, but they couldn't move up to help hard push. Still worried, as you said, where Wei is, considering that 2v2 is so dangerous. But Breathe eventually gets that push out, and it means Flandre will have a nice chill-out moment to accept everything that comes his way and give a bit of a reset to the lane, as Wei just uses this time to get little grubs as well.
Yeah, you could also like very easily tell that they were weighing up whether or not it was worth trying to dive Flandre, but you know, having some is a little bit difficult. Wei now will be caught out on these grubs, but he's got first move from Breathe and first move from the rest of his team. Tangyuan's level 6 as well.
80 carries the only ones who aren't here. Grub is taken, 2 of them in fact. Ming with a flash forward for the commit, gets a flash in return. JDG are pushed away from the grub, and it will be 3 for RNG. And a great news story for this early game that we've just seen out of this top side.
Alright, well done. RNG get 3 grubs. Pressure as well by blowing Yagao's flash, and that could be a very easy target, right? Volibear walk into lane, Q smite, Q flash, set up for Tangyuan to just basically dump his entire kit into Yagao's health bar. Very easily see that resulting in a kill, and then maybe something like Dragon off the back of it, we'll see. But very tempered and very well measured RNG early game so far.
Yeah, I think for RNG, a good thing. You know, like, we know that these lanes were going to be pretty mildly successful. Top, mid, 80 carry, even small lead down here. As Dragon's the next focus, it'll just be about how JDG can approach this one, because Jamada, we don't have level 6s apart from those mid laners, and for Wei, that's always a good thing there as Ming tries to jump in, but then has to jump back out, respecting the potential damage that comes through from JDG while they hover and try and ensure that Dragon doesn't get started here.
Yeah, exactly, and to be honest with you, Wei is probably quite close to this. I imagine if he takes his blue and he takes his Grom, he'll be there, whereas Kanavi probably has a little bit more farming to do before he has access to his own ultimate, so
true.
I imagine a window for Dragon is about to open up relatively soon here for RNG, so long as no one goes a little bit over the edge on the aggression scale. Wei's done his Gromp, he's still 5. Blue should give him 6, and then, of course, then it's about access to diving towers with that ability. Kanavi, unsure whether or not Dragon is being started. Does give it a poke and prod. That should be level 6 for Wei. There you go. And Kanavi will clear that ward. But again, now it's, you know, it's a window for Wei to look for a play somewhere. No flash on Yagao. Blew it earlier.
Oh, full commit. Doesn't get the turret in the meantime, but does get the stun down, and ulti flies through. How perfect that from Tangyuan to get first blood. Well, Kanavi down to the bottom side. Here's the trade-off. Flashes for Ming, and the knockup's there, but Kanavi has to steal the kill before Ruler gets in play, and it's a trade across the map.
Yeah, I mean, RNG feels a little bit bad to get picked off here, but of course they're expecting perhaps this bottom side of the map to be their strong side. After all, Wei has just ganked from the bottom side of the map, and Kanavi should, you know, he's got camps on the top side to clear, but he's just not really playing, you know, efficiently in that manner. So RNG, a little bit of disrespect and a lack of information and vision. Gives over this kill, goes into Kanavi's back pocket. Doesn't cost them Dragon though, and it looks like Wei will start this one up. And he should be able to secure it, because Kanavi has to commit to his top side now, otherwise he will simply fall way too far behind.
Kanavi. It's not often you say this guy falling behind in jungle. It's already a good sign from Wei, and, you know, it gives me vibes back to the 2021 RNG, I think it was, or 2022. Trying to again remember recent form with Wei and Breathe that pushed them to be a top team. But we'll look at the replay first. No need for my ramblings when you have Wei who commits to the dive.
The unfortunate fact as well is that Yagao wanted to just clear this wave and base, so he used the Mantra Q on that back set of creeps. I don't know if the Teva, you know, empowered by the Mantra would have saved him there, but it could have bought him a little bit of extra time, right? And that can always be a very, very important factor in a play like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him this time. Drops 2 Wei.
All right, now, game state. let's talk about grubs coming up. 15 seconds for that. Important because for RNG, they've got a Yasuo on their team. You know, I say side lane threat. I say ability to hit the turret and absolute womp on them. But also, just with the experience lead we already have for Wei, or at least did have, before Kanavi caught up to a degree. Which I have to correct myself right now, because as Wei looks for Kanavi, still level lead. There's still an experience gap between these guys as Wei starts up the grub. Tangyuan might be caught. Audacious charge, but jumped on. Kanavi is getting nuked here. The Sky Surge helps out as well. Still surviving for the longest time while Flandre has to commit in for this. But this twist of fate now, it's no escape. His flash burned, but from Wei, how far will you get? The time Kench saves the day, so maybe that's enough. Ends up being a trade, but there's no jungler, at least for the meantime. And grubs are just going to be taken by Wei started again.
Yeah, could be 6 grubs here. For RNG, not a bad outlook. And like you were alluding to, right, it's a lot of power for RNG when they have, you know, the potential of Yasuo skirmishing here. They feel really, really good on that department. And 6 grubs it will be. There is no answer here for JDG. No dragon, no bot lane dive on the offing. It looks like Rula, he's resetting presumably for his first time in Essence Reaver. So all is well and good for RNG, and you know, they might not have even killed Tangyuan were it not for the ultimate from Flandre here. That's the final hit. Well, it's Yagao that gets the kill credit, but even then, I think if it wasn't for the gold card, he'd still die. Isn't able to find the chase down as... Oh, hello.
Turret is still there, though. Breeze not managing to get any more from the Steel Tempest. As he gets that ulti down, Flandre just holds his ground, and meanwhile, Wei is invading off the back end of top, being so hard pushed out. Kanavi going to get the engage here, but Wei's still great with the dueling, but he needs a bit of help. Ming's coming in with the quickness. The circle of fate is there from Kanavi, and he's surviving for so damn long. RNG now trying to use range. They'll get him, though, and another pick to bite the dust as Yagao over the wall is matched by Breeze, flashing as well and missing with a great knockup. Excuse me, Ming. I'm used to talking about missings for Khan, but today it's Ming's, it's Breeze on Yasuo, and it's RNG with a major lead in this game.
Yeah, I mean, RNG almost, to be fair, it starts off with Wei almost being picked off, but the support is there of Ming, and with Breeze having first move, no ultimate available from Flandre, it is simply an RNG favored fight. Missing does what he can to keep his jungler alive, but once Tangyuan comes in, with the claws, traps them in place. Very well done. And this lead continues to balloon out for RNG now, almost 2,000 gold, and crucially 3 kills in Tangyuan's back pocket.
I mean, look, RNG looking so good through their mid. I mean, let's talk about this again, because for JDG, they wanted to take this fight.
Yeah, it was them that wanted it, and now they probably think about perhaps a different approach. RNG, this is their strong side, right? It's not really where you need to be, but at the same time, playing towards bottom side when Smolder's still stacking, he's not really a strong champion just yet. Perhaps just doesn't look like a, you know, a particularly attractive idea to JDG, even if they've got the Xin Zhao, even if they've got first move out of Yagao from the mid lane as well.
Speaking of which, that move is going to take us to Flandre ulting towards Tangyuan and doing absolutely nothing. I mean, for JDG, Jamada, that was a big ult. That 35 seconds from Dragon is not going to be available if you want to make plays across the map or set up another pick.
Yeah, exactly. Flandre has to go top and answer Breeze's push here, and Breeze is 2 levels up. He's level 11.
Huge!
Flandre can't walk up to this wave without the support of someone else. Like, if I was Breeze, I would consider straight up just walking slightly further up.
Yep.
I beg your pardon, and just kind of blocking Flandre from even getting access to that wave, but is still a little bit worried about Kanavi or Yagao walking up. He's got the information. Either way, just wants a tempo reset. Has Blade of the Ring King now. Kind of do whatever he wants. Seems like Wei kind of just knows there won't really be a contest for this. This will be second dragon. Picked up as here's the replay.
Again.
Good flash, good fear. Well done by Tangyuan to get out of that one without giving his life.
But again, that play hurts JDG so much. RNG now with another dragon. It's a Cloud Soul as well. Always going to feel good with things like the Volibear. I mean, I feel like any champion, I say, that has an ultimate that moves them some distance feels good on Cloud Soul. And let's be real, individual stats as well help with the bonus move speed. And Jamada, I think RNG right now are just going to be chilling on those dragons because they're 3k gold up. They have entitlement to every objective. Now the Herald's just been taken. JDG are the ones that started up, but RNG moved. And as long as Ming is there and wait, it looks like an easy take as point in case.
Yeah, exactly. Very difficult to engage onto this court. Very mobile. Wind Wall as well blocks a fair amount of different spells and abilities here off the JDG lineup. And Herald now secured. It's a perfect objective game so far for RNG. Let's see if they can continue that trend as the game continues. And I mean, not only that, you mentioned, you know, Cloud Soul being the lock-in here. This is one of the stronger Cloud Souls you'll see too, because it's, you know, it's all about moving forward. It's all about diving off of using your ultimates, right? Predominantly. So everyone on RNG is going to be able to use that combat function of the Cloud Soul really, really well. LWX takes a nice bite out of Kanavi's health bar. Not the end of the world, but whilst all of this has been going on, there is still the one scary, scaly creature in the bottom lane.
Ruler.
And that is Ruler, who is about 80 stacks away from hitting the 225, the esteemed 225.
Ooh, not bad.
So he's not doing too bad for himself at all. JDG still have that opportunity to come back into the game. And I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what we say about how well RNG are playing and how well they've done so far to shut JDG out of this game, it's JDG. And if there's anything I learned from last year, it's to quite simply never doubt them.
True.
Even at a deficit as, you know, seemingly large as this. 2 dragons, 2.5k, vision pressure, you know, map state game pressure. Everything has just completely weighed in RNG's favor. You still can never count JDG out from making a solid cross-map play on whatever play is going on, or very simply just hand-checking RNG at any given opportunity once they have a couple more items in their belts.
Yeah, that's a concern, isn't it? You're like, RNG, it looks so good, but when in teams like JDG, maybe historically and last split, not as good as they are currently, sorry, other way around. JDG are definitely not as good as they were last split, you know what I'm saying? But like the team fighting machine 369 might not be there, but still Flandre, great on some of these flanking champions, great at picking an angle. Historically, Flandre's best champion has really been things like Aatrox, because in team fights, his positioning is so good at picking an angle or picking a flank. And I think here with a Twisted Fate, Jamada set up to do so again here on the one-item top laner. As RNG for now have position, we'll stop talking about JDG because Flandre has to flash away. He ghosted away as well. Ulti the only thing remaining because Breed is just stomping the side lane again.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's kind of the worry about dealing with this particular 1v1 matchup. Yasuo just has so much pressure. We've seen it from minute 1, but now we're starting to see it with items involved, and Twisted Fate is never going to build any kind of tank items now. Speaking of pressure, wait, I'll turn this tower off.
Trying to buy time underneath the dive. Yeah, you're right. It's off, it's good night, and it was just so easy to pick up the dive and give over another kill.
Yeah, easy as you like. I'm not even sure they necessarily needed the Volibear ultimate by the end of it. Oh, very, very nice by Breed.
Wow.
Well done. Well done. Gets both some of the spells out, of course, from Flandre. And RNG, whilst Breed is doing that on the top side, make the bottom side their strong side, and they'll get this tier 1 as well. So again, continuing a very calculated and meticulous breakdown of JDG so far in this early game, whilst they don't really have the tools to answer back pretty much at all at the minute.
But they are just waiting for some of these items to come through from tools like Ruler on Smolder, as you mentioned before. I've just kept that in the back of my mind because, you know, you're so damn right. Like, every JDG game, you never count them out, and I kind of hate that, but the fact that RNG are doing this well against them, maybe I'm just like, oh, what's going on? Because we have seen, you know, a couple of mistakes. We've seen mistakes from Flandre. You know, Kanavi's been caught out in his jungle many times. Like, this Volibear pick has put them through a loop. Even, hell, the Yasuo top has done the same thing. That is now 60 CS ahead with 2 items. And you can see why running towards this dragon that's now just spawned JDG are like, well, to get into the river is hard enough. Herald used for pressure, and Jamada Dragon starts, and JDG have to come in second fiddle.
Yeah, absolutely. JDG, I mean, they might even just take tier 1 tower for this, to be honest with you. They might just give it up. Or at least try to. They'll chunk it out, right? Because it's so high HP still. Nice chunk.
Defended. Yeah, but Kanavi's in by himself. He gets saved by missing, but that's 2 ultis now burned. Quickness and Last Breath Mum flies through as Breathe goes deep before RNG can find their mission. Wave's also got his ultimate available. LWX the same. RNG's team fight engaged Jamada. It looked good till it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, RNG just not able to burst out Kanavi in time, and then Missing comes in with the heal with the ultimate. Keeps his jungler up and healthy, and then Breathe. Unfortunately, just the nature of his champ in that position. He's a little bit too deep, and here's the replay. Good poke initially as well from JDG. Try and turn around onto Kanavi. They feel like he's out of position. Back forward from Ming. Knock up, but then look at the burst. The knock up, I think, comes out from Kanavi on a Q3, and then Breathe doesn't really get to move, just dies.
Why are we ulting a Tahm Kench? That's my only question. Kanavi was inside the Tahm Kench, but why would Breathe ult the Tahm Kench, Jamada? Is that the mistake or what?
No, what you're seeing is a JDG team fight masterclass.
Ah, right, okay.
Right, look, glass half full, always, okay? It's not actually the perspective of Ming going in, it's JDG putting themselves on a platter to make RNG feel like they can see. Like, it's all about the narrative.
Ah, right.
It's how you spin it. Always, Jake.
It's only people doing good, no one doing bad. Everyone's good.
Yes. Exactly.
It's how you spin it. Well said. Let's spin this one, because Baron's up. RNG are in control. However, we've just seen a nice pick that's put JDG back within gold's reach. Mid still being defended here. Lots of weird snot coming out of the nose of this baby dragon. And for Ruler, his damage and wave clear starting to mean more and more as they defend mid lane turret and keep RNG from opening this one up. That, again, just feels like it is delaying how RNG get to play the game.
Exactly. And again, the longer this goes on, as guess what Ruler's just hit? He's hit the magic number, 225.
There it is, with a little bar at the end. Does Elder stack on top? I haven't actually seen. Do you get the extra execute with Elder?
You know, I don't think Smolder needs any more weird interactions where he gets stronger in the late game.
True.
So I'm just going to assume that once a team with Smolder has Elder, the Elder just takes...
The Elder bar is execute. It's not like, it's not multiplicative where you also get Smolder's execute on top, because that would be crazy. That would be like, because it's is it 5% of a health bar?
I think it's 6.5 on this patch, and then it's going to scale with passive very soon if it doesn't already on live.
Okay.
So yeah, what would it be, 30%?
Yeah.
Or what? No. What's the execute on Elder? It's 15, right? I think 15. Or
oh, now you're testing me. I was going to say 15, 20. Wouldn't be 20.
25 sounds like too much, so I'm pretty sure it's 20%.
It really does. Yeah. It does indeed. I feel like Ruler, we're going to be talking about that execute in a little bit. Dragon's up in 1 minute 30. This is sole point for RNG. So, nevertheless, while we are talking up some of JDG's win cons and the fact that they found the pick, remember that RNG are still the ones in control. It's almost a 3-item play, 3-item Kai'Sa. I'm sure Breed has got components when he next bases as well. We have very strong DPS added in with range. And you know that RNG, with their dive in, Jamada, we still haven't seen it to its full extent. So I'm just waiting for that power here as they try and group up around mid and force JDG to match their call just before the dragon spawns.
Yep, exactly. RNG. I mean, the onus of execution is still on RNG, and that's what I'm worried about.
I know.
Because JDG, they have Karma, they have Tahm Kench, that can keep Ruler very much alive. Flandre has rapid fire cannon now, so he can throw out gold cards from slightly further away, and with Flash and Ghost up, repositioning is really just on him.
Yeah.
Despite the item advantages that RNG actually, find themselves having, when you really kind of break it down, it's not the biggest advantages in the world anymore. Despite the 2,500 gold lead, look at the inventories. There's not more than a full completed item advantage anywhere, then
True.
maybe Breathe if he's able to finish off this Iceborne Gauntlet in just a second as
Engage.
Kanavi
He alters to that.
starts a fight.
Redemption going to come through. Weighs the next target. Remember Kanavi with no Crescent Guard. He burnt it before. Good passive damage from Tangyuan as well as Breathe moves on down to start up this dragon, this Soul Dragon. Kanavi without ult to approach it, and the poke damage is good on missing. Dragon's just going down 4k, 3k, 2k. Soul disappears. JDG let that one go. RNG have it forever. And it's just good map placement. Just good RNG-ness in that fight. That sets up JDG to walk second fiddle this time.
Yeah, okay, not bad. JDG, yeah, again, you know, very difficult to start a fight, and if Kanavi can't go in and then use the Crescent Guard to make himself artificially far tankier by blocking out all of that range damage, then yeah, life is just a little bit more difficult. Rule up. Will he have his moment to really open up on Smolder? That's kind of what we're waiting for.
True.
And will RNG be able to shut that down from happening? And ensure that they can run over a team fight with Cloud Soul, you know, that job becomes all the more easier.
Well, Rapid Fire should be picked up for Ruler shortly. I mean, we're just waiting in base. He's sitting there. So 3-item Smolder is now in League of Legends, right? 290 CS as well, by the way. Like, Ruler is farming like Chovy right now. He's really taking over the game. I mean, you can say the same thing about Breathe, but like Ruler has just been absorbing it all. And yeah, it is again a problem that gold doesn't seem to extend. Soul is there, but it does really feel like this could come down to Elder, come down to the next Baron fight, as well as JDG getting more confident to take it, considering that their burst damage has also risen quite a lot with these last couple of bases. That, I mean, now we're just going to be expecting Ruler to get some executes off if this turns into a full-blown 5v5.
Exactly, so much damage available. We see he get that 1Q off onto LWX, and
Hurts.
it's about 15% of his HP.
Jeez, even with Tangyuan.
Tangyuan. All the damage available if he's able to get this
Flash.
off. Hello.
Yagao might be caught out, but they're using a lot. They dope for this. Mum comes in. She's upset, but doesn't reach the final breath of RNG as they're kiting away into the passageway. JDG still have some good bursts here available, but there was a lot there for not much happening.
Okay. Just learned the new interaction that Breathe can in fact win war with Smolder's mum.
Oh, that's why it stopped early. I thought
That's
he
why it
pulled
stopped
from...
early. Yeah.
Right, okay.
What a funny sentence, eh? Anyway.
I didn't even pick that up till now as well.
Ruler still has Flash and Ghost, and okay.
We're starting Baron.
The Baron.
Why not?
I mean, look, it's JDG. I'm not gonna question them. They can burn Breathe's teleport, and in all fairness, RNG are lacking the ultimate of Rakan, so
oh yeah,
it's a very big deal in setting up for Breathe. Here they go though.
There's TP. Good damage as well. I mean, JDG have actually hurt RNG quite a bit here. Remember, it's only Cloud Soul, not Ocean. So JDG kite away. They've gotten the teleport that they came for. LWX has the inside track though, and for RNG, let's see how they play the map. Now that there's a wave crashing into inners and JDG have to take the long way around, no, they say, forget the turret. We might even threaten the Baron, and it looks like that's what they're going to start.
Yeah, I mean, JDG know what's going on though, so they will return immediately to it. But the question is, how fast is this Baron from RNG? Half health, big chunks coming out.
Kanavi for the steal. No way, don't 50-50, they do! Kanavi gets the steal down, Mum zones out, and now for the fight, it better go well for RNG. They just lost it all. Over to Kanavi in the wing.
Oh, no.
He's matched by a double flash, but they're isolated.
No.
Why are they overcommitting to this jungler? Jamada, RNG with some big mistake that just hurt the whole game.
Oh man, you're against JDG, guys. Like,
Well, let's not flip the Baron, eh?
oh, yo. I mean, I can get it. I can. The way he's scratching his armpit, I can get it. You know, the Baron hits that like 3K mark. Go on.
Go on then.
Flip it. Go on then. No problem. But like, guys, you do not a lot. And the thing is, you know,
He just walked up.
he just walked in. Ming's got ultimate, you know, he's got cooldowns, but he's so focused on looking for a turnaround play because that's how you get Breathe into the fight. that he's not really willing to potentially throw his life away to stop Kanavi from getting in the pit. And from that fact alone, it feels like, and I'm just guesstimating Ming's, you know, headspace in that play. It allows Kanavi to walk in, and unfortunately, for RNG that is, JDG secure the Baron. They're even on gold. And now all of a sudden, Ruler's 3 items, very close to making it to that 4th.
I mean, look, Ruler in that fight as well. The damage output's insane. 340 CS. I'll keep track of this very farm-heavy Smolder. And I love the point you raised in the last fight that, like, you know, maybe Missing was trying to, or Ming rather, was trying to get set up for Breathe. Like, we didn't get the Breathe set up in that fight. We didn't get that big turn and that big punch of play. Instead, the flip hurt the game so much. Gold is now dead even. There's a Baron in the hands of JDG where they picked up 3K. And you can see the pressure on the sidewaves here, Jamada. 40 seconds before Elder, because JDG do have the Baron buff. That'll lead into the Elder play that could, again, just flip this game. But instead, Wei might be caught out, gets very low. Kanavi jumps in, doesn't pull the ulti. Ming gets knocked up as well.
God.
And for JDG, they're so healthy on this. Flandre as well has a rapid fire cannon. His range extended. Now looking for that pick with the gold card. They find mid. And with Baron as well helping the push, RNG is zoned out of Elder. It's a JDG game once we flip the script.
What did we say, Jake? You just can't rule them out. And I mean, you know, look, this is pretty self-inflicted on RNG's part, but nonetheless, JDG make the most of it, as they always do, even if they find themselves in these game states far behind in a situation like this. Now they've got the Baron. It's gonna just about drop off in about 10 seconds.
Whoa.
Even then, Ming, oh my word. That's a lot of damage.
And that hurts. I mean, that's the tool that has flash and ulti. Ming is going to get nuked in one pivot of a transaction, and Flandre, he targets him over the wall. Now Ming can't go in. The engage follows through. Kanavi zones off, but JDG will not flip as Ruler calls in Mum once again. There's no wind wall to block it off. And Jamada, let the curses be damned, because his Eldo X runs away from Ruler. RNG had this game in the palm of their hands. The fly through, but the execute won't fly through. Cleanse away. It counts anyway as Missing. Will flash over. Look at the last target in Tangyuan. A tongue lash helps out as Yagao, makes it even close. Golden stasis to buy time, but it'll buy the ace for JDG as we flip the whole game state off one big power play.
One big power play indeed. They're not going to crack open the base. They're just going to go and get the Elder. Death timer's very, very long, and I wouldn't even be surprised. You know, they'll take. They don't want to screw up their tempo so much. Will they wait for Ruler? My honest question, because he is so strong. You kind of want him to have Elder. I mean, yeah, you can.
Way's alive. You are right. They are waiting, aren't they? They are.
They are.
Wait.
They are.
3,
Yeah,
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are bros. Those are real bros. And now Ruler, as you said, I mean, we also know that the execute's not going to stack. But hey, Smolder with the bigger execute as we look at his play again. And JDG, I mean, they're not the ones to flip it. They're not going to make the same mistake RNG did at Baron.
No, and I mean, look at Ruler as well. Like, Ruler, he doesn't go forward often. You know, big flash forward plays, but when he does, you know, he's always going to be on the money about it in this game. Credit to LWX.
He does
At
damage.
least make it a trade, and he does do damage. He gets 1,000 gold for himself, but at the end, not quite enough. Tangyuan tries his best. Stasis, unfortunately, just delays the inevitable. Another kill there for Yagao, and off to the races. JDG are with this Elder. They're just going to ARAM down mid. Straight up Route 1 League of Legends. And RNG do have wave clear actually, so this is going to be a little bit more nuanced than perhaps JDG anticipated.
True. As you said, I mean, wave clear is going to be huge. But I'm just wondering about these side lanes, because there's a Twisted Fate with an outer turret still available on top side, outer available in the bottom side as well. Even though it's an Elder, not Baron, a lot of standing gold here for JDG against RNG. I mean, mid, they're trying to continue forcing down. But now finally, looks like Flandre doing the right thing, moving to the sides himself, and able to push down this turret, open up the map for himself. JDG is a 4-man stack with his execute and a Smolder. It feels pretty easy. to continue the assault once you're able to manage out the impact of the wave clear. While at least Breathe is getting a trade, but we know that JDG are probably going to be trading up at this point.
Yeah, exactly. JDG will trade up, and not only that,
Destiny.
they have Baron to retreat back to. I mean, Flandre has Goat, and yep.
Whoa. He does get tagged, but you're right. Go's going to be burned, not the ulti in the end. Breathe backs away from the turret on the bottom side, while Baron in the respawn. JDG just jump on it. Are we going to flip it again? Are we flipping this again? Let's find out. At 3K, they're poking it over the wall. But they're not.
15 seconds.
I mean, JDG aren't. RNG jump in, but it's still taken. Blade trying to steal it. And Kanavi's like, go on then. Go on then. And in the end, he does. As Yagao actually might be solo killed by Breeze. Huge step up here from the top laner of RNG, keeping the game alive. While Baron is taken by JDG, excuse me, in the cost of one soldier.
Yeah, I mean, Yagao dying here, it does feel a little bit bad. It will stunt a bit of tempo that this Baron can give JDG, but at the end of the day, they have Baron. So once, that's just unlucky. I didn't even catch that in the live. Well done, RNG.
Hello.
Well done, Breathe, rather, for making that happen. They are still down now, this Baron. And, at the end of the day, I think now that JDG have all 5 on map, they're just going to pick a lane and they're going to siege. Things will get a little bit more difficult. RNG have this side lane to work with, but again, Breathe, to me, if he comes to a team fight, I think he just gets one shot. That's the problem.
You reckon? Even with Iceborne Gauntlet, Frozen Fist, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, like armor in this game is a bit of a fake stat because you know, Flandre is gonna be able to lock him down one way or another eventually, right? You don't have infinite wind walls for all of the picker cards.
True.
And if it's not him, it's a knock up from Kanavi. It's a slow from missing, and then Ruler gets on top of him. Or rather, Reeve puts himself in a position where Ruler's able to damage him. I think it just gets very hard. Very, very quickly. So he's on the side lane again, and he's actually got a pretty good timer for it. He's going to send Flandre back. Now, Breeve has teleport, so if he sees Flandre match, he might be able to back off and actually find the teleport somewhere. This Flandre's armor can only go so far across the map, but he's going to stay here, looking for pressure. But this inhib, it will go downstage.
At least forcing their way in. On the note of Breathe, I mean, the consistent pressure that's being put on it, at least for RNG, is taking some off their base push. I mean, JDG haven't fully committed to making that 50-50 of, well, let's just push in and deal with Breathe, and knowing that we will push faster. A lot of respect going out here to the top laner as Flandre. That was a bit of a juke. I think he destinied backwards, trying to get Breathe here, who is just wind walling or sweeping blading through the base. And the crazy thing is, I think he might just be out because the rest of JDG were looking for RNG up here. They're now covering his escape plan. He sweeps from one side of the map to the other and makes it out all the same.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. Again, Breathe, like you say, like we've been saying, he is... Yeah,
he's the guy.
He's soaking
it's
up
him.
A lot of pressure. He is him. He is the guy. Terminus last item. So he's going to be able to have a few more resistances in a team fight, or in a side lane, which will just make him very, very obnoxious to kill. Let's see what he can do now at full build. This is Flandre, to be fair. Actually, Flandre's made it to full build too. Twisted Fate passive plus some of those Baron gold bits of gold, probably helping him out.
He's probably up, but the crazy thing is he's probably up on Golden Breed.
Yeah, at this point he probably is.
One of those GP things, you know, where you're just like, well, passive is just so OP.
Yeah, you have to remember as well, one of the kind of silently very strong things about this TF buff, as this could be cheeky, but the thing is, Breathe will always react to around the corner gold card.
Well, didn't go in, but you're right. As what?
He doesn't
Sorry,
have wind
what?
wall. This is a
Flash?
long chase down if they want.
Okay, flash for a flash. How did that hit? I don't know how that
going.
connected with. It is. In the meantime, JDG are going to be first fiddles this time. I obviously love fiddles today as Yagao is the one to teleport in. Breeze now channels in as well. 5v5. Mum flies out in the backside. Better damage, but not too much. This is just the fight that decides this wacky game one as Kanavi jumps in early. He's saved, though, by missing. as now it's time to get an execute of your own kill as Kanavi's ulti skews, they're into the pit, and Elder's secured by a damn tongue. And this Sig must be MVP now, as Kanavi and Ruler pick up the rest, and JDG, you just never count them out, do you?
You know what? There's going to be a lot of focus on Ruler because he's on Smolder and he's 7-1-5. But Missing has really made the crucial plays. He's made the crucial saves in so many of these skirmishes, and this will just be game number 1 going over to JDG. 40 minutes to topple RNG. Credit to RNG where it's due. Reeve in particular made this game a mountain from a molehill. But JDG cannot be topped in team fights.
Dude,
the curse remains.
That was just wild. I mean, again, you said it like, yeah, you can't trust RNG. I think what's crazy to me is the fact that for this whole game feels like it could have been avoidable for RNG, this loss, right? Because the Baron 50-50, the flip, it hurt. It hurt my soul, and it obviously hurt their chances of winning the game. For RNG, things made difficult with JDG opening up the series, but our old Beijing derby, haven't worked that one out yet. We'll return after a short break. Jamada, I'm not even going to let you speak.
After the break, I'll tell you.